Christy here with Little Salty Homesteader. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am in Zone 8A up in North Texas, or down in North Texas, depending on where you are at in our country. Today, I'm going to be planting garlic, so I thought I'd bring you guys along for the journey. But before I do that, I did want to give a shout out to my new very special friends, Jason and Rachel. They were so nice, and we swapped some seeds, but you guys, I definitely got the better deal here. I mean, look at this. There's so many pepper seeds, some of which are kind of terrifying, but I'm so excited for them. And then there's so many flowers and some tomatoes, and some of these flowers I have been wanting to grow, but I just didn't have the seeds for. So I have some hollyhock here and some poppies and some bleeding hearts and just really, really beautiful things that I'm so excited to grow. So Jason and Rachel, if you guys watch this, thank you so much again. I'm so excited to grow everything. But now, let's plant some garlic. So what I have here is some organic seed garlic that I got from Hudson Valley Seed Company. When I purchased garlic, I kind of jumped the gun, so a lot of places didn't have it in stock yet, so I pre-ordered this variety pack, and they sent it to me in mid-September. And these varieties here, I have Music garlic, chestnut red garlic, and German extra hardy garlic. These are all hardneck varieties. These will grow well in zones 3 through 10. So they should do well okay here in Texas since we're in 8A. I have had them in the refrigerator for a little over 2 weeks so that they could get stratification. And what that means is that it will help the bulbs form full bulbs, okay? So if I would have just planted these without refrigerating them first, they would form, but they wouldn't be very big and they wouldn't be very good. So I refrigerated them for about 2.5 weeks, and before I plant them, I need to pull all of the cloves apart. So give me just one moment while I do that. And as you can see with these hardneck varieties, you can see the stalk come up through the center of the clove. So unlike the soft neck varieties, the cloves don't form all the way to the center. They have this stalk, and that's why they're called hardneck, because it's hard. It doesn't bend. So I'm peeling off the outer layer of garlic paper, but I'm not going to peel all the way down to where the clove itself is exposed. Otherwise it will just rot and nothing will grow. The paper sort of helps protect it while it's growing. So once this outer layer is peeled off, I should be able to start separating the cloves from the head. So this is the middle of what the hardneck variety of garlics look like. You can see the stem, all of the cloves form around the stem. Once all the cloves are separated, then you can plant them in your soil, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Alright, so we have all of the garlic peeled and ready to be planted. So just a little bit of information about these hardneck garlics. The Music and the German extra hardy are going to be your all-around culinary type of garlics used in cooking and so on. But this one I'm really, really excited about. The chestnut red is supposed to have a bit of a sweeter flavor, perfect for roasting, they say. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. Alright, so I'm going to be planting these in 10-gallon grow bags here. And the reason why I'm using grow bags is, if this is your first time joining us, most of my garden is in some type of container or another. We are not at our permanent home yet, so everything that I have can be moved easily, except the raised bed. That'll take a little bit of work. So 10-gallon grow bags should work great to plant the garlic in, and I'll plant each type in its own bag. So let's go ahead and go over to where I keep my soil and get that started. And you can tell it's fall in Texas because the leaves are falling into my soil. So I keep my soil in this gigantic plastic container because I mix it myself. It's quite a bit cheaper for me to do that, and then I can make sure that I know what's in it. So my soil recipe is pretty simple. It's peat moss and soil, just a bag of organic soil, garden soil, excuse me, a bag of manure, and then compost. When I originally mixed it, I just put a bag and a half of compost into this mixture. But garlic is a very, very, very heavy feeder, and once the cold months set in, it's going to be a lot harder to feed it and amend the soil. So I wanted to give it nutrient-dense soil now. So what I did just a little while ago is I sifted about 10 more gallons of compost into here that I got from my compost can over there. So the sifting, I actually got the idea from the Nakid Gardeners. They're actually not too far from me. I'll link them down below so you can check out their YouTube channel as well. So I have the soil, it's ready to go. I went ahead and added some fertilizer to it as well, since the garlic is such a heavy feeder. I wanted to give it the best chance possible. So these 10-gallon grow bags are going to take a bit to fill. Let me go actually grab my bigger shovel. So I'm going to set the camera down, and I'm just going to get the soil shoveled in. Okay, so the grow bag has as much soil as I'm going to need in it. I'm going to mash it down a bit just to compress some of the air out of it, and I'll add another scoop or two to the top really quick. But other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. So now we get to plant the garlic. Okay, so to plant the garlic, you're going to plant the root side down. So the root side is kind of the rough bottom whenever you buy it at the grocery store. So you're going to plant this side down and the pointy side up. And you're going to plant it just about 1.5 inches down and about 2 inches apart. And this is going to give each bulb about 4 inches of total space in order to grow in. And I did a whole bunch of research on growing garlic because, as most of you guys already know, this is my first year gardening. And so I was watching garlic planting videos on MIGardener, or from MIGardener, and I'll link him down below too. He's so informative, and I learned quite a bit. So I'm just passing his information on to you, essentially. So we're gonna, that was a little deep. Alright, so about 2 inches apart. And this is going to be a really full grow bag of garlic, and I'm so excited. Like I've said in previous videos, it was really important for me to try to grow as much of our food as I can. And so far, it's been mildly successful, other than my radish fail this morning. So I planted radishes August 23rd or something like that, which is really still too hot in Texas. But I was like, I'm going to try it anyway, just to see what happens. And that was really dumb, because they did not develop any roots. I mean, they had roots, but they didn't develop any bulbs on the roots. They were just leaves and roots. Okay, so here they all are, planted in the container. That one's a bit deep, so I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit, and then I'm just gonna cover them very lightly. Okay, so garlic is planted in the fall because in the winter they sort of stop growing because of the cold temperatures. So what we're doing is we're kind of giving them a head start before any sort of frost comes. Hopefully the green parts, as they start to shoot up stalks, hopefully those stalks will only be like 1 to 4 inches above the soil. Any higher than that, it might kill it completely. Any less than that, and it may not grow after it starts to warm back up again. Now, another one of my garden fails, I will admit to you, is in July. I planted a clove of garlic just to see what would happen. That one is going to die whenever the frost comes because it only grew during the warm months and it has like a foot of greenery. So I'm not going to get anything off of that one, and I didn't refrigerate it beforehand, so even if it had formed a bulb, it would just be a really, really not good one. So it's sitting in a pot over there, and I need to just pull it up and throw it in my compost bin or something. But we have 2 other 10-gallon pots that we need to plant, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I got all of the garlic cloves planted. I got the lid put back on my soil so it doesn't get ruined by weather and creatures. So the only thing that's left to do with this freshly planted garlic is to water it in. And I am going to label it with some better labels. That's just for now until I get those written up. Alright, so I'm just going to turn on the water hose really quick. Should be good. We're not trying to power wash the garlic, so this should be just fine. It's nice and cool today here in North Texas. I think it's like 69 degrees right now, so I don't need to wait for the water in the water hose to cool down. So I'm just going to get some water on these, and it'll probably be about a month or so before I see anything sprout from it, but we'll see. Texas weather can be surprising. It might be 85 tomorrow. Our first frost is here in this part is due around December 15th. So you want to try to get garlic planted 30 to 40 days before the first frost date. Once the frost hits, it's not going to grow anymore until it starts warming up again. That should be watered plenty. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the water, that way we're not wasting anything. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Wrong way. Thank you guys so much for joining me today while I plant garlic. Hopefully you learned a little something. And if you want to comment below with what your favorite types of garlic are to grow, I would love to hear about it. This is my first year, so I just sort of picked what sounded good. But if there's anything better, I definitely want to know for next year. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you feel so inclined, like, subscribe, comment. It all helps me greatly. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Bye!